Syria Stories is an online website that talks about the life of 6 characters.
Writing to us from inside the country, showing the struggling of a human inside the conflict.
And the idea was to tell the story of Syria in a different way.
Syria Stories is a chance for us to tell the story of the Syrian civil war in a more human, personal context.
Some of them are inside Syria, some of them are in refugee camps, and some of them are outside Syria and trying hard to go back to Syria.
There's so much coverage in social media and video about everything that's happening in Syria that people are sort of sometimes overwhelmed by the carnage and overwhelmed by the numbers. We wanted to take an approach where people could at least try to identify with 6 Syrians, only 6 Syrians, and try to step into their shoes and to understand their stories. So
there is many challenges which make it difficult to contact the people inside Syria. I talk to them by secure emails or Skype. Sometimes we make a call, so we make them more comfortable talking to us, and I write the post.
And one of our first challenges that we faced was because of the nature of the project, we're telling the stories of these 6 Syrians, and we don't want to put them at additional risk. So we can't show their photos of them or any identifying information or reveal their names. So how do we help readers in the audience relate to the people telling their stories? And so we decided to illustrate and come up with portraits for these characters. And now, as they're writing blog posts and telling their stories over time, I'm going to be providing illustrations, and then we're going to be layering those illustrations over documentary photography.
We're using a lot of different social media platforms to promote for the project. We're using Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Using social media part of this project is very important to us, and make sure that we're engaging with our audience.
And so one of the stories I connected most with was the story from Walid, who was just the task of wanting a cup of coffee in the morning, and what he has to go through in order to get that cup of coffee. So he doesn't have any water, so he has to go out and find a bottle of water, looking through neighbors and abandoned apartments, and then he has to go out and find gas in order to heat up the coffee. It's a very small story, but it's very human.
I was really moved by Walid's story. My friend died before I apologized to him. It was very compelling and very sad.
A story happened with us with one of the characters. He talked to me by telephone about his story. I wrote the story and sent it back to him to see his feedback, and I shocked when he told me that he started crying.
The goal for this project is to highlight the situation in Syria like that. It has never been done before. We're trying to do it like a documentary online and tell the story of what's happening in Syria from a different perspective.
We tried through Syria Stories to tell our audience these people are not just numbers.
it's essential with a long drawn-out civil war that you don't forget the humanity. I mean, these are human beings. Probably more than 100,000 people have perished in this conflict, and it shows no sign of ending as of the time we're talking now. But you have to remember the humanity of each one of those people. We've picked 6, and there's literally millions of people just like these 6. So if I identify with 6, you might identify with more, and you may understand what it's like to be a Syrian.